Welcome everyone. Welcome to our 2020 Mayoral Forum for the next mayor of Miami-Dade County. My name is Naomi Blamire. I am an accountant and consultant in the city of North Miami. It is an honor and a privilege for me to bring you the candidates tonight, for you, the people, to choose, to make a choice on who is going to be the next mayor of Miami-Dade County. N'a salué tout le monde qui branché, non moi c'est Naomi Blamire et nous connaissons comme un comptable, un consultant dans la ville North Miami. À souhait, n'a poté candidat, tout le monde qui posait candidature pour magistrat pour Miami-Dade County. C'est vraiment un privilège pour nous faire ça à souhait pour tout le monde qui connaît qui est soyez. Pas vrai, nous pas voulons juste aller pour nous voter sans nous pas connaître moun, sans nous pas jamais entendre qui est moun nan, sans moun nan lui-même, lui pas jamais dire qui ça lui veut faire. Nous voulons pour nous voter pour moun qui n'a intérêt nous comme noirs qui vivent dans Miami-Dade, ensuite comme haïtiens américains qui vivent dans Miami-Dade. So à soir c'est pour nous. OK, si vous avez une question, nous demandons que vous déposez une question dans live là, dans Facebook là. Si vous sous Zoom non, vous avez une question, vous déposez une question sous Zoom là. Et puis, n'a pas assuré que à soir, toute question nous, tout ça nous t'a remis 10 candidats, tout ça nous t'a remis et parler avec candidat, nous fait ça à soir. Mais à soir, moi pas pour compte moi. Nous connaissons l'en fait forum, nous pas fait forum nous seulement et nous dit n'a salué monsieur Ronald Surin qui est avec nous à Soya. Monsieur Surin.
Bonsoir tout le monde qui branché pour le moment. Nous comptons pour nous rejoindre à Soya.
Merci monsieur Surin. Anthony Bonami.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. And I'm happy to be here and hear what's going on and what's taking place in Miami-Dade County.
Next, we have Dr. Vanessa Pierre.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonsoir tout le monde qui branché à soi, excusez-moi. Et puis, je voulais nous connaître que aujourd'hui, c'est un jour important pour tout Haïtien américain qui vivent là dans Miami-Dade County parce que magistrat ça c'est moun ça cap ba nous ça nous besoin cap avancer haïtien américain dans Miami. OK, so on voulait tout le monde brancher vraiment entendre ça y a dit pour qu'a connaître qui moun va voter pour your next Miami-Dade County mayor. Merci.
Maître Ronald Surin.
Salut tout le monde. We thank you for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to share the time avec Aswea parce que nous avons un programme là à côté. Nous-mêmes, nous voulons prendre destinée dans la main pour nous participer dans le gouvernement de county. So nous-mêmes, nous avons aidé pour des informations pour aider nous choisir meilleur monde qui a aidé la communauté et aider la communauté par nous en tout. So thank you for joining us, and then we're going to share the time with the next, hopefully the next elected mayor of the county, so we can be part of the process as a viable citizen in the county. Thank you for having us.
Merci, M. Surin. Sandra Saint-Hilaire.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Non, moi c'est Sandra Saint-Hilaire. Je suis content parce que je suis nous à Soya pour nous représenter la communauté haïtienne. N'a posé question, nous besoin attendre. I just want to say good evening to everyone watching tonight. My name is Sandra Saint-Hilaire. I'm happy to be here to ask the questions that the Haitian American community may have for their next mayor. We appreciate you tuning in, and thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Sandra. Now, for everyone who are all our English speakers, we want to introduce our co-host. As I stated before, my name is Naomi Blamire. I'm an accountant and consultant in the city of North Miami. I've been residing in Dade County for the last 5 years, and I'm looking forward to hear all the great things that the candidates are looking to share with us and for us to choose the person who really has a heart, a desire, and of course, the skill set to serve us in that capacity. We have with us also Mr. Anthony Bonami. Mr. Bonami is the founder of AB Consulting Solutions with over 10 years of experience in government affairs. He has knowledge in various phases of municipal business tax, risk management, real estate, municipal budget, local, state, and national political campaigns, and grassroots organizing. He's a former administrative assistant for Miami-Dade County School Board, 4th largest school district in the United States, and former chief of staff for the city of Miramar, a city with 140,000 residents, 1,000 employees, and an operating budget of $256 million. Next, we have with us Ms. Sandra Saint-Hilaire. She is a political consultant and a campaign treasurer, providing services to candidates and committees in local, state, and federal election. She manages finances, campaign finance reporting, ensures compliance with campaign finance laws, provides guidance and assistance in making financial decisions for the campaign, and assists clients in developing fundraising strategies. We also have with us attorney Ron Surin. From the courtroom, the political arena to the pew, Ronald Surin was called for a life of service to others. From an early age, before he knew it, he was prepared to be a voice of the voiceless. His task on earth is useless if it is not geared to glorifying the Almighty God. Last but not least, we have with us Dr. Vanessa Pierre. Dr. Pierre is a former political candidate for the city of North Miami. She studied at Bethune-Cookman University for her bachelor's degree and Nova Southeastern University for her master's, and earned her doctoral degree from Morgan State University. Aside from being an educator by trade, Vanessa owns and operates a waste management company, Eco Renew Solutions, located in Quadebouquet, Haiti. Vanessa is civically engaged in local community politics as Miami's Next Leader Fellow and a former Forbes Top 30 Under 30 nominee. Listen, guys, we are looking forward to the conversation tonight, and I thank all of our co-hosts for considering our community, understanding the power of the vote, and making yourself accessible and present tonight. At this time, I give the floor to Met Ronald Surin, who will give us our official welcome.
Welcome all the candidates. We welcome everyone who join us tonight in this endeavor. It is a great pleasure to gather all those great individuals in the county who are running to be at the head of the government there with the power to make decisions over our people, from the utilities to the services and assets and wealth the counties tend to distribute. We just want to have a conversation with you tonight to understand your position, your desire for the growth of our community, how we share the burden and the responsibility of a government, a governing body in the county. So we are here to join you in this endeavor. We just want to be part of the process of picking up the best and the fittest person to lead us that way. So in that way, we welcome every one of you, every single individual, every single candidate, from basically from Mr. Esteban Bovo, Carlos de Armas, Ludmilla Domond, Mrs. Daniella Cava, former Mayor Alex Penelas, and Monique Bali, and former Mayor and Commissioner Xavier Suarez. Thank you for being with us tonight. We just want to know you and family. It's gonna be a friendly conversation. Don't be afraid, just speak from your heart, and we will have a good time. Thank you for being here with us.
Next, we have Dr. Vanessa Pierre. The floor is yours.
Thank you. The next 2 minutes for each candidate will be dedicated to everyone giving a brief bio. So I would like for you to give 2 minutes, we will be keeping time, 2 minute self-introduction of yourself. We will begin with Commissioner Bovo. For each candidate will be dedicated to everyone.
Is there a marker I should be looking for when we're close to 2 minutes?
I will give you I will give you a ring when you are nearing the 2 minutes. You have 30 seconds left.
All right, very well. Well, thank you all for this opportunity, and I look forward to the conversation tonight about critical issues that affect our community. My name is Steve Bovo. I've had the pleasure now for the last 9 years of serving on the Board of County Commission, specifically District 13, which encompasses Hialeah, Miami Lakes, and Northwest Dade. Quite honestly, I made the decision to run for mayor and seek your support to become mayor because I have seen over the last couple of years how the county has embraced many liberal policies that can lead to higher taxes, lead to regulations that could, quite honestly, morph our county into places like San Francisco, New York, and LA. Something that I don't think any one of us would like to see. I made it a point that my candidacy will work on the issues that I think are most important in our community: transportation, housing, issues like economic development, which is extremely important, especially during the recovery of COVID-19, that we all work together to make sure that our economy bounces back as quickly as possible. You know, but oftentimes in this discussion, the taxpayer is ignored. The taxpayer is always left to the side of this discussion. And I have pledged to work hard to make sure that the taxpayer and the business owners have a seat at the table in making decisions and do it in a transparent way. I'd like to make sure that our government does not use issues as wedge politics amongst all of us in our community, but on the contrary, help us move our economy in the right direction, moves our county forward and not backwards. And again, I look forward to the conversation that we're going to have tonight. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. You had 30 seconds left. Thank you so very much. Next up, it's going to be Mr. Carlos de Armas. The floor is yours, sir. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, got it. Hi, how are you today? You know, I'm Carlos de Armas. I'm the new runner, as everybody knows, and I'm running for mayor. Basically, I'm a regular person like any of you are. I just got tired of issues never gets resolved and decided to do something about it. And because I wear the same shoes that like everybody else wear, I know what to fix and what must be fixed. I have no strings attached. I am not a politician. I'm just a problem solver. And I want to solve all those problems that are already due. By talking to more than 4,000 people during the last year, I was able to compile so much information. And based on that information, my government plan was designed. Basically, my government plan was designed by people like you. Talking to people, they tell me what they think, what they want, what their expectations are, and what they are expecting from Miami-Dade to be. And that is basically what it is in my government plan. I am ready and willing to meet the changes and improvements that the people of Miami are asking for and need. I don't have sponsors. I don't have an investment to recover. I will start free to do what must be done and is due already. As you can see, I'm just somebody else that really want to make the change. I want to make the cake bigger so everybody can get a bigger piece. I don't want the same cake cutting in small pieces so everybody can eat less. So that's the main difference. If we make the cake bigger, we don't need to raise taxes at all. Actually, we can lower them because the base that we are collecting from is bigger. So at the bottom line, we're gonna have more money for the county, even though we have less tax rate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Mr. De Armas. Next up, we have Commissioner Daniella Levine Cava.
Well, thank you so very much to this wonderful group for bringing us on and for showcasing the issues in the community. I think it's an excellent opportunity and I'm very happy to be with you tonight. First, let me tell you, we are living in amazing times. Crisis for sure, and out of every crisis comes opportunity. I'm extremely hopeful that because we're working together as a country and as a globe to address this pandemic, as well as to address issues of police violence, community violence, that we are going to be able to solve these issues together. And as a mayor, I will be bringing innovation and new solutions, not the same tired solutions of the past. It'll be a new chapter. And in this new chapter, I will be the same person I've always been, community-led, community-informed, and with the community by my side. This will be our chance to right the wrongs of the past, to deal with the disinvested communities, and to work together to restore peace in our community. So as to my priorities, for sure, the economy. The economy is in a tailspin right now because of COVID, but we can together build a new economy that will be built on innovation. And we need to address the affordability issues. People cannot afford to live here because salaries are low and cost of living is high. We have to invest in transit. Transit is our only solution to traffic, and people who are transit dependent have been given the short end of the stick. We have to have world-class transit to be a world-class city. We need to protect our water and our environment from pollution. And I am the water warrior. And violence in our neighborhoods is out of control. This is about opportunities for our young people, that they see a better future. And we also need to work to help create more trust between our law enforcement and community, so we can move together for reform. So this is not a moment, it's a movement. And I look forward to being your next mayor and addressing all of this together and restoring equity and inclusion to Miami-Dade County.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Commissioner Levine Cava. Next, we will have Ms. Ludmilla Domond. Can you please, yes, give us your 2-minute intro. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bonsoir. My name is Ludmilla Domond. I am a servant leader. I'm passionate about social justice and finding a way to end systemic racism and bringing real reformation to gun safety and policing, making housing affordable and making public transportation accessible to all in Miami-Dade County. I lost my mother by the age of 16 to a brutal murderer. She was shot 7 times and sliced open with a machete. I know firsthand what gun violence can do. As a Haitian American resident in Miami-Dade County for the past 32 years, I have now built a life past my traumatic childhood events and the systemic issues that plague immigrant children here in Miami-Dade County. I am an entrepreneur with over 14 years experience in real estate. Currently the president of Final Destination Realty Group. I am a dedicated servant who has served the community by volunteering on the Foster Care Review Board in Miami. And as a former Christian youth leader, I continue to invest in our Black and brown children in the community. I am a single mother to a 16-year-old Black teenage boy living in America who wants to fight against injustice in our county. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ludmilla Domond. Next, can we please have Commissioner Suarez?
Yes, thank you, and Dr. Vanessa and the rest of the panel. I want to say right off the bat, I meant to have a jacket, but because of technical difficulties where I was at my home, I had to cross the street and I left my jacket behind. But then I get to dress a little bit closer to Naomi because I didn't bring my jacket. So let me tell you something. When I was mayor of Miami, I came up working to advance the cause of Haitian inclusion. People that come to mind, Gary Eugene ultimately became a major, Ray Carvel, who's running now for office, and of course, Franzia Bray, who is, I believe now, Assistant Chief of North Miami. I also got very involved in the immigration battle. At one point, I led a delegation that included the Archbishop of Miami, McCarthy, and included maybe 25 Haitian leaders, among them Roger Biambi and Ringo Callard. Now, if you don't go back to those days and those names, you know how difficult it was for me and what a diplomat I was to keep Ringo and Roger from going at it. And we accomplished great things. Later on in life, as mayor, I had occasion to participate in every single demonstration to try to change Haiti to a democracy, to try to improve the immigration situation. At one point, I actually went to Haiti and I actually met with President Aristide and helped with the transition to the extent that the American federal officials listened to me, which they did at the time. One of the reasons they did is that I am independent. So I'm able to work with any administration. When we went to the White House, as I mentioned, with Archbishop McCarthy and the Haitian delegation of 25 members, we met with former Vice President at the time, George Bush Sr. And I can do and did the same thing later with President Clinton and other presidents of both parties.
Thank you, Commissioner
And I'll
Suarez.
be talking about transportation later.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Suarez. Sorry, time ran out. So sorry. Last for the introductions, we have Mayor Alex Penelas. Can you please give us your 2-minute introduction, please?
Of course, Vanessa. Good evening. Thank you so much for the invitation. You know, it's interesting. I heard both Ron and Naomi talk about being part of the process. And that's one of the objectives of tonight's forum. And I'm glad it is, because way before the Haitian American community had the prominence it had today, I was one of the first and strongest champions of the community. Ever since I arrived at the county in the 90s and after I was elected mayor in 1996, I elevated the Haitian American community as it should have been. Through equitable access through all county departments. For example, my initiative brought Creole language to Miami International Airport and the requirement that we translate all official documents at the county into Creole. We worked hard with community-based organizations and ran citizenship drives throughout. I remember being at many of the high schools with Leslie Proudhon, who was a principal at the time, and many others. I worked on economic development and was so proud to be part of the founding members of the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. And we also elevated the culture, the cultural significance of our Haitian brothers and sisters by recognizing Flag Day in Miami-Dade County, which we still recognize today, and actually the Haitian Cultural Heritage Month in the month of May. I was proud to have many members of the Haitian American community part of my inner circle. Emmeline Alexis, who's gone on to earn her doctorate's degree, and Joey John Batiste. Lieutenant Eugene Germain would stand next to me at every press conference at the Emergency Operations Center to make sure we translated every word I said into Creole. So I'm proud of my record of having already made the Haitian American community part of the process and look forward to doing it again soon.
Thank you so very much, Mayor Alex Penelas. Next, we will pass it along to Ms. Sandra St. Hilaire.
So we're going to get started with the first question. Question number 1 is, why are you running for Miami-Dade County Mayor, and what makes you the best candidate? Please keep in mind, this is not a debate. We will start with Mr. Esteban Bovo Jr.
Thank you, Sandra. And as I had started in my intro, I decided to run for mayor because I have seen progressively how our county has morphed into something that is unrecognizable to many taxpayers in our community. You know, let's remind ourselves what county government was created for. It really was created to provide services, the services that all of us expect when we pick up the phone and call for a police officer or a fire department, you know, when our potholes need to get fixed on our roads. I mean, this is what county government was created for. And this is what many of our taxpayers expect when they pay their taxes. Now, sadly, and what I have seen over and over is the same liberalization that we've seen in other major cities in the United States, where more and more stress is placed on the core services that county government would like to deliver. And as we put more pressure on those services, they become poorer in the quality of which they are delivered. It's the difference between having a police officer in 5 minutes at your home or 20 minutes in your home. because more and more we're seeing an investment of tax dollars into programs, quite honestly, that fit perhaps a minority and a social need, but don't address the coreness of what county government should be. I pledge to work in a way that we realign and make sure that first, the taxpayers' needs are not only represented, but adhered to. That the way we invest our money is fulfilling needs that they expect, the services that they expect. You know, quite frankly, I think many of the issues in our community have become very, like I said, very politicized early on. It's Black against white, it's Haitian against Cuban, and it really shouldn't be like that at all. You know, I think what we should be striving for is more cohesiveness in the way that we implement. And I do find a fine line that connects all of us in our community. We all want the same thing. We want the same opportunities. We want to make sure that the government is serving our needs and not perhaps the needs of others. And I think that's something that I pledge as your next mayor, to work on issues that allow the realignment, as I should say, about our tax dollars being spent in areas that the taxpayers expect. And the further we get away from that bullseye, I think that's where we find ourselves into problems.
Thank you, Mr. Bovo. We will have 2 minutes. I forgot to state that. So the next person, the next candidate will be Carlos de Armas. 2 minutes, please. Why are you running and what separates you for the next mayor? Mr. de Armas?
Okay. Got it. I'm sorry, I forgot to mute. More than a candidacy, this is a dream. A dream for justice, inclusion, transparency, and good living for everybody. We want to see a vibrant Miami being inclusive, being the best place to live, to raise kids, to work, to do business, and more than anything, to be happy, to have fun in it. Miami, even though it's a great city and everybody love it, and many people from other places want to come to live here, has gone through several issues like any other city that probably is growing. But the thing is, those issues need to be tackled. And I think we are due in so many things that we need to do something about it. That's why I decided to run for mayor, to have a good plan to fix those issues and continue moving forward. Based on the information that I have gathered from the people, I have designed a comprehensive plan to do the best for Miami in the best interest of the people of Miami-Dade. Thank you.
Thank you. The next candidate is Ludmilla Domond.
Thank you once again. As much as I'd like to agree with everyone on the panel, but I, as an immigrant Black woman living in Miami-Dade County, I have seen firsthand how Haitian American and Haitian-born individuals are dismissed and undervalued in Miami-Dade County. I'm running to ensure equitable distribution to our $9 billion county budget. I'm running to ensure that all residents have access to affordable housing. I'm running to lead the charge on police reformation and gun safety. And of course, having a reliable and safe transportation that everyone in Miami-Dade County and all over the world can enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you. The next candidate is Daniella, Cava.
Thank you so much. So I am the newest of the elected officials to be running. I am not a career politician. I have spent 40 years of service in Miami-Dade County and a few decades before that, before moving to Miami, always working in the community to improve conditions, to create opportunities for people who have been disadvantaged or disinvested. I've worked with the homeless. I've worked with the mentally ill. I've worked on immigration rights. I was an immigration attorney at Legal Services of Greater Miami. I've worked to deal with troubled youth and to deal with school issues, helping children to achieve what they should be able to accomplish through the public education system. So my life has been, my entire life's work and my life has been about creating equality, equity, opportunity. And as mayor, I will bring that lifetime of service to the 29th floor. My background in training is law and social work, because those two together allow us to speak to power and love. And it's a great combination, compassion and effectiveness. I'm a very practical person. I've been problem solving, and I've been running organizations big and small for the 40 years I've been in Miami-Dade County. And I go into government because people don't trust government. I'm passionate about our democracy. I know people feel that government is not working for them. We must restore the trust. Our democracy is hanging in the balance. Customer service is a key part of it. We have to be able to treat our taxpayers, our residents, as customers. We must give them good customer service, but we must also have a vision for the future that brings our cities together and all of our diverse communities to achieve the maximum for everyone. We know when the tide rises, it lifts all boats. And that is what I have done all my life, brought everyone to the table. I've worked extensively in the Haitian American community. I'll be talking about that in another answer, but the reason I'm running is to create opportunity and to lift the boat for all in our community, especially now in the COVID era, when we know that we must reinvent our economy for all of our communities to thrive.
Thank you. Next candidate is Alex Penelas.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Public service is my passion. I've always enjoyed opportunities to deal with complex issues in diverse communities. I enjoyed it tremendously when I served for 17 years in public service. And I've decided to submit myself to public service again, because quite frankly, I've seen us as a community really failing to address all these issues that we talk about, all the issues that have been mentioned here so far today, and I'm sure many others. Just think about it. Over the last decade, we've gone backwards on gun violence. We've gone backwards on economic disparities. We've gone backwards on mental health and affordability. For the last 10 years on transportation, the last expansion of Metro Rail was approved under my administration. I left in 2004 because the plan that we left in place to address public transportation for the totality of the community was never followed, and the money was misspent. So that's why I seek to return. And I think I'm properly qualified because of my experience, having been in the public sector for 17 years, having been the mayor for 8 years, dealing with every imaginable crisis, and now with 16 years in the private sector, running businesses. At the end of the day, the county is a $9 billion company. I think that combination of experiences makes me uniquely qualified, especially at this particular time when we have to deal with all the challenges presented by COVID, and yet the issues before COVID have not gone away.
Thank you. The next candidate is former Mayor Xavier Suarez.
Thank you, Sandra, and thanks. And I want to say one thing that former Mayor Penelas said is true, and it goes to question number 5, and that is the inefficiency and ineffectiveness of the current mayor. A lot of things I'll say when we get to that question. In the meantime, the reason that I am someone that I think you ought to seriously consider for your mayor is that I get things done. When I was elected, I found out that some of the other commissioners did not want me to get involved in their districts. By the way, Daniella, Levine, Cava, and Bovo both have not been that way. They don't mind if I help them with matters in their district. And we had sunshine meetings on a lot of issues, but others didn't. So what did I do? I went ahead and found other entities. For example, we don't have enough after-school programs in the county, in the school system. And the ones that we do have, people have to pay $8 a day per child. So I undertook to get those after-school programs done with private funds and with help from my son, who was then a commissioner, now mayor of the city of Miami. We did 20 after-school programs, including in my district, in the West Grove, the one that is headed by Patricia Faircloth, which went very quickly from a C to an A. So in my own district, I brought a renaissance that I want to bring to the entire county. And after and I think I'm being told that I'm finished in my time. But anyhow, I did one in Edison and 3 others throughout the county.
Thank you so much to all the candidates for answering that question. The next person is Anthony.
Thank you, Sandra. Many of the incumbents touched on this in their introductions, and I wanted to ask this question. There is a wide range of issues plaguing our county, from public transportation, police violence, affordable housing, gentrification, flooding, small business development, and many other issues. What are your priorities once you are elected? Which of these are going to be your priorities once you get elected? I'll start with Commissioner Esteban Bovo.
Thank you, Anthony. Well, before COVID-19, I would have told you that transportation is the #1 issue that's facing our county. It is the issue that has been a fundamental failure. Started with a horrendous half-penny promise that was overpromised, quite honestly, and would never be fulfilled, to now conversations of free transportation a la Bernie Sanders that won't be fulfilled either. Transportation is so important for our economy that it helps us solve multiple issues at one time. I'm sorry. I was giving away lottery numbers here for all of you to play the lottery tonight. I'm sorry. Let me first start off by saying that before COVID-19, I believe that the issues of transportation was the most pressing issue that we have in our community. Transportation and economic development, which really go hand in hand, is something that I made a priority as not only while I was chairman, but in 2 other occasions as chairman of the Transportation Committee. We realized that we needed to bring all assets to the table, whether it was zoning, permitting, regulation, county land, in order to energize these corridors in a way that we could fulfill a promise to our residents that was transportation. We've also worked on legislation that would help feed these corridors with financial mechanisms that was not raising taxes, and many on the board supported my efforts. You know, sadly, in the realm of transportation, most of the conversation is centered around a half penny, a failed promise that was in essence overpromised and could never really deliver on its full potential. And also now we have entertainment and talks of free transportation, which is another in my opinion, false promise that creates an expectation by many of our residents that these things can get done when in reality they cannot get done. But I believe transportation continues to be the #1 issue. We lose an Amazon HQ2 opportunity because we had not solved the issues of transportation. Solving the issues of transportation helps us with not only workforce housing, affordable housing, helps us even with resiliency, because if we develop in a different way that puts less stress on us having to have vehicles, we put less of a carbon footprint in our community. I think these are critical issues, all critical, but it all starts fundamentally with transportation. We are not California. We're not other parts where we have an immense amount of space. We are caddied between the Everglades and the ocean. And that, therefore, we need to look in ways of developing differently, perhaps going vertical in the future, but transportation is #1. Sorry, I think I might have gone over a little bit.
Thank you, Commissioner Bovo. Next, we'll have Commissioner Daniella Levine Cava.
Thank you, Anthony. I'm going to focus on economic issues because in these pressing times, people really know that they are having such a difficult time making ends meet. We've always had disparities, but those disparities might be accentuated as we recover from this pandemic, and we cannot allow that to happen, especially in our disinvested communities, in our Black communities, in the Haitian community. So I've put together a plan, which I know is in reverse here in the picture, but it's the Empower plan for Black communities specifically. And it starts with expanding entrepreneurship and investment in Black-owned small businesses. We have opportunities because of the federal dollars and we've taken advantage of those. We have a revolving loan fund that's been created, and I took the initiative around a forgivable loan program similar to the federal PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. We need to keep these programs going. I created a nonprofit and a small business academy and an accelerator in my district. I will bring those programs county-wide. We need to mentor and support our entrepreneurs to succeed and to grow. So it's not just about the beginning, it's about what can they do to scale up, creating more jobs and driving our economy forward. We've also disinvested in our neighborhoods for basic infrastructure. And you can look around, and some neighborhoods are well cared for and others not so much because of different levels of investment. And we have to overcome that. Yes, we have to address police reforms and public safety issues. That's critical as well. And we must collaborate with our nonprofits. Our nonprofits are the foot soldiers that help to bring critical information and resources to the community, but also to help grow the economy. And then wage growth for youth. And we need youth employment. We need apprenticeship programs. We need those pathways, career paths that start early and lead to jobs. And then all of this will be managed through an Office of Equity and Inclusion that I will establish in the mayor's office to make sure that county programs are working for the benefit of those communities that have been left behind. We must stop Black flight. We must make sure that we support our heritage, our unique, diverse cultural life. And those are some of my priorities as county mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Cava. Next, we will have Mayor Alex Penelas.
Anthony, thank you. The priorities are many, but let me focus on just a few. On transportation, one of the first things I will work hard to do is reverse the horrible decision the county made 2 years ago not to expand rail down south through the busway corridor. That is a community that deserves rail. It is the most logical corridor for rail. We could do it at grade. There could be a 1-seat ride all the way to Government Center. And the decision that was made to reject rail after the people of South Miami-Dade County have been paying that half-penny sales tax for years and years and years was the wrong decision. I would also jumpstart the North Corridor and go to the feds on the East-West Corridor. Number two, we have to aggressively attack the gun violence issue in our community. Affordability is another main priority of mine. That's the space that I've been in the private sector, running affordable and workforce housing without government assistance, by the way. So that private sector experience, I think, has made me uniquely qualified to bring about fresh ideas on how we could advance an affordable housing agenda. And finally, let me talk about minority contracting, because it's shameful that we do not have a true race or gender-based minority contracting program in Miami-Dade County. I had one when I was mayor, okay? And there's a disparity study today, okay, at the county, sitting on commissioner's desk, that shows that there is disparity, especially for contracting for construction companies among Black and Hispanic firms, and yet nothing has occurred. So those are just, Anthony, just some of my priorities. Hopefully I'll have time later on to speak about some more.
Thank you, Mayor Penelas. Next, I will have Ms. Ludmilla Domond.
Thank you once again. It's great to have affordable housing and reliable transportation, but what good are those two priorities if the neighborhoods are unsafe for everyone to live? So my priority, of course, would be making sure that our neighborhoods are safe. So police reformation would be the first thing that I attack and conquer. Reason being is everyone should feel comfortable to live in a affordable housing, ride through their neighborhoods without being afraid. Doing this, I'll be able to do this by creating a community-based policing, making sure that the police are interacting with the community and that events are taking place to make sure that the police are not just there to guard, but actually to befriend the community. Secondly, by creating the board, this is the board that we all have been talking about, making sure that when incidents occur in our neighborhoods, that there is someone or several people, like the citizens, can review and say, this is what's wrong. We don't need to literally go through an entire due process to determine if someone's knee on your neck requires you to be placed in jail. So my first priority would be to review what has been going on with our police reformation, our policing, so that way we don't have another one of the incidents that are taking place right now in Georgia, that has taken place back in the 90s, and that are continuing to take place right now as we speak. Of course, secondly, affordable housing. That is like, if I could make it first, I would, but I have to make it second, because when we talk about gentrification, one of the things that I want us to understand, affordable housing does not mean you kick people out their neighborhoods to make it affordable for you who can actually afford it. So affordable housing is a way to teach people, making sure that we have housing that's affordable. But if a neighborhood is not up to code, teach the residents, teach the homeowners how to maintain that, not come in and buy out their homes for $1 and then turn around and sell it for $300,000 and expect them to be able to live in that neighborhood.
Thank you.
My third would be transportation, and we'll go further in the next question.
Thank you, Ms. Domond. Next, I will have Commissioner Xavier Suarez.
Ludmilla is right. We should have a citizen investigative panel in place right now, and it was vetoed twice by Mayor Jimenez, and Daniella and I fought for it. Penelas is right, partly, that we have misspent some of the half cent, and some of my colleagues who are on the commission that are running, you know, at some point we'll have to explain why they voted with Jimenez and misspending that money and using it for operations and maintenance when it should have been used for capital improvements. But Penelas should have done it right from day one. He had the power from 2002 to 2004 to put constraints on the expenditure of that money, to float the bonds and get the capital improvements done and not allow it to be used for all kinds of operations. Look, transportation and housing are the two things that are most important for this county going forward. 62% of the people in this county use more than 50% of their disposable income for transportation and housing. And the quickest one that we can solve, and it's not pie in the sky as Commissioner Bovo seems to indicate or insinuate, actually. Let's just look at very quickly at what Commissioner Montestein and I did. We had a sunshine meeting because we have now the perpetual easement, the forever rights to use the line from downtown because of the $68 million that we spent there, and because of the deal that the city of Miami negotiated with Tri-Rail to use that line all the way from downtown, Midtown, Lemon City, Little Haiti, okay? Little Haiti, very important, that stop at 62nd and Northeast 2nd Avenue. And we can do that right now at no cost because of a perpetual easement. And I know Ludmilla knows all about perpetual easements with a real estate background. So, folks, all these things can be done. We can initiate a transportation linkage from downtown to Little Haiti, Poinciana, and Liberty City, all the way to Hialeah at no additional cost for the use of the track. Instead, some of my colleagues that are running for mayor, you know, voted in favor of $700 million to be given to Genting for Baylink. Baylink doesn't cost $700 million, and we don't need to have an unsolicited bid.
Thank you.
And $2.7 billion for Brightline. So we'll be talking more about that, but transportation and housing, and I'll get to housing in a little while.
Thank you, Commissioner.
He's telling me I'm finished.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Commissioner.
By the way, I know that's why.
No, I have to go to Mr. Carlos de Armas. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you very much. Anthony, Miami-Dade is a system, and a system as it is must be seen as a whole. Cybernetics in a system will produce synergies, and that's what you have to be focused on. And all the issues are important, and we have to look it up, but I think the most important thing from my point of view is always education. Multi-level education will reverberate to help solving many other problems like improving social tissue, boost inclusion, help economy and environment, safety and criminal justice, and help traffic as well. Of course, we have to go to another important thing that we have to work on is transparency, because when there's not enough transparency in government, there's a lot of money that is going to be wasted, more likely. Are you listening to me?
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, and that, you know, the money will be wasted. We need to work on mobility, of course, transportation. I am up for the elevated train north south to Kendall, extend to Doral and FIU, and go northeast. Of course, we have to do that. And also, you can go to my website, carlosadarmas.com, and check something that I call urbanistic strips or urban, just got lost.
Thank you.
Urban corridors.
Thank you, Mr. Carlos de Ramos. Time is up.
I just lost the word.
I apologize. Thank you so much for your time. Next, I will pass it on to Mr. Attorney Ronald Surin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony, for your service and your presentation. And I'll see if I can be as efficient as you as keeping the time. So I'm going to ask my question in reverse order, so as alphabetically. So let's get ready for me. Haitian American, we have been here for a while, and starting from being refugees in the 80s to having prominent professionals at all levels in business, law, politics, government. So as Haitian American make up the third largest ethnic group in Miami-Dade County, as mayor, how will you integrate Haitian American in your administration? And I will start with the Commissioner Xavier Suarez.
Making sure I'm unmuted here. I said a lot about that in my introductory statement. I talked about all the Haitian staff members that I have, including right now, Sunless Martin, who has been fantastic. He's part Haitian, part Bahamian, but he's certainly Caribbean. And they would be a very important part of my administration. If you don't have people working close to you, you're not going to know what the issues are. And that's part of the battle. But you also, Counselor, you said something a little earlier about the utilities in the county. And it's a very important point in how we include the community, including the Haitian community, in the economic prosperity and the economic life of the county. Yes, we have a $9 billion budget, capital and operating. 40% of it are enterprises, utilities, as you referred to them before. Airport, seaport, water and sewer. And the airport, for example, is a good example of how we can bring more economic participation for the Haitian community and all the community generally. Daniella was particularly helpful in trying to get the people, not just the 3,000 that we employ at the airport, but the 30,000 that work for them, okay, and giving them a living wage. But we can do a lot more at the airport. The airport is a monopoly. It is a very successful monopoly. Hopefully we'll get back. Now, some of these utilities, as you call them, we got to make sure that they get back to economic prosperity after the coronavirus. But involving people from those apprenticeship programs in the county workforce, 27,000 folks. And why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we doing that not only for our workforce, which is 27,000, but also for people who work for the concessionaires that we have, for the airlines at the airport, for example. And that's another 30,000 people that work over there. And I fought for them, and I will make sure that the apprenticeship programs that we set up, including the one at Edison, lead directly to employment in the entities, not only the airport, the 3,000 that work for us, but the 30,000 that work for those concessionaires and airlines. And that's where you're going to see some real progress for the entire community.
Thank you, Commissioner. The next mayor, former Mayor Alex Penelas, has been around for a while, and he has seen the growth in the community. Mr. Penelas, the same question for you. How would you integrate Haitian American in your administration? And yes, please, how would you engage our community as well? What is your plan to engage our community and the government?
Ron, that's a fantastic question. If we were in another forum, I'd say it was a softball question, okay? Because that's exactly what I did. You mentioned, for example, in the 80s, our Haitian community was emerging as a new immigrant group. It didn't have the political clout or economic clout it has today. Yet I embraced the community very, very early on. And I brought on key advisors like Emmeline Alexis, who was on my staff for 8 years. And I give her a lot of credit for educating me on the community and how we needed to translate documents into Creole, that we needed to welcome our passengers and provide signage in Creole and Spanish and celebrate Haitian culture through Flag Day and making May our Haitian Cultural Awareness Month. So the record is already there. And I think that it's incumbent on whichever one of us is elected mayor of Miami-Dade County, that we have not only an inclusive staff that assists us in managing the affairs of the county, but have inclusive policies as well. Okay, that's critically important. It's not just having people next to you, it's having policies that help all the people. And that's exactly how I governed before. You know, in the private sector, I'm proud to tell you that I've provided housing, affordable housing to hundreds of Haitian families. And I've done it in the private sector, okay? Not to mention how I reached out to my Haitian brothers and sisters when I was in office. So the track record, Ron, is there. I will not only replicate what I did in the past, but I will grow it. I'm proud today to have the endorsement, the political endorsement of the vast majority of current and former elected Haitian American officials here in Miami-Dade County. And I think that's a testament to the fact that I was always a very inclusive mayor and will certainly be so again.
Thank you so much. Now, the only Haitian American in the race, Ludmilla Domond. Please, the question, how would you integrate Haitian American in the government? How do you plan to engage us?
Okay. One of the things that I'd like to address is, I hear all the great speeches to how everyone is planning on engaging the Haitian community. But out of the 6 of us that are here, with the exception of the Armas and myself, the other 4 have been in the public eye. And yet there's still a failure to embrace the Haitian community with open arms. When I look into how do you embrace the Haitian community, first and foremost, engaging the community, engaging the business leaders of the Haitian community, engaging the community activists, engaging the teachers, the students, the citizens, the Haitian community, the Haitian citizens, embracing them and engaging them and including us. I'm saying them, but let me correct that, us, in your offices, right? Because what we're doing is we're saying all this and making it beautiful so that the public can hear. But then when we get into actual office, how many of you actually say, I want to have dinner tonight and I'm going to go have it in Little Haiti? Not when it became Midtown. but when it is Little Haiti. That's what I want to see. I want to see when we talk about economic, how many of you actually go to Little Haiti and say, let me buy? Not because you're taking pictures so it can look good. So in order to embrace the Haitian community, let us truly involve, let us truly have a direct communication, not just with those that can make you look good, but all of the Haitian community. That's what I want us to focus on, not just for the cameras.
Thank you, Ms. Domond. We have Commissioner Cava. She's probably in the best position to address your concern. So please let us know how you plan to engage the Haitian community.
Yes, thank you. Such an important opportunity to talk about this today. And let me assure you that legumes and griot are among my very favorite foods. And I go to Little Haiti as often as I can to eat them. But that to be said, we have a tremendous diversity of cultures and foods, and that's one of the really wonderful things about Miami-Dade. But more essentially, what are we doing about lifting people up in their communities? And that includes frequenting businesses, of course. But beyond that, let me say, when I arrived in Miami 40 years ago, I finished law school at the University of Miami. And during my last year of law school, I already started working on immigration issues at Legal Services of Greater Miami. And I worked predominantly with Haitian Americans. And that led to my first full-time job at Legal Services. And my most important case was a class action suit involving 3 Haitian girls, triplets, who had contracted HIV and were being excluded from public education. And I had the wonderful opportunity to sue and demand and win their right to attend public school. So that is where I started, along with my immigration cases. So embedded immediately into the Haitian community. After Legal Services, I was at Barry University, and I was also running the foster care system. But when I started my nonprofit, Catalyst Miami, right by my side, my first employee was Rasha Camo, who is now the head of the North Miami CRA. And shortly thereafter came Paula Pierre, who became our HR director and our administrative director. And these 2 ladies have really mentored me over the many, many years. And I'm so very proud of what they've accomplished in the community and have enjoyed their support as well. Also at Catalyst Miami, a nonprofit of which I'm very proud, which I founded and served for 18 years, we have mentored so many rising leaders from the Haitian community, including Francesca Menes, Christina Francoise, I told you Rasha and Paula. We worked very closely with Saint-La and FAM from the beginning of my time in Miami. In fact, I was part of the founding of Saint-La and worked closely with Gypsy for many, many years, brought the Prosperity Campaign to that organization, and also consulted. I was assigned as a consultant on healthcare access issues and worked with Saint-La on that and many, many other things. Paula Pierre, by the way, is now the chair of the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce, as I'm sure you know. So when I was at the Guardian Ad Litem program, I hired Danielle Romer. Many of you may know she was a social worker, sadly not still here to work with us, but we did outreach to the Haitian Creole community to bring in. So now what will I do as mayor? I will do exactly as I've always done. I will make sure that the community is fully represented on the 29th floor and in leadership positions throughout Miami-Dade, and that we have translations of all critical public forums and documents as well. So that is my commitment. And on my campaign, we also have significant Haitian leadership and organizers, and we are doing Haitian Creole outreach with pamphlets in the Haitian Creole community as well. And you will see me very active, and some important endorsements in addition to Representative Dottie Joseph, and Marlene Bastien, some other very important endorsements are coming out very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Now I'm going to Commissioner Steve Bovo, and for the same question, how do you plan to engage the Haitian community?
Thank you, Ronald. I've had the utmost respect for the Haitian American community. I've seen the Haitian community's translation of their family values really and their work ethics turn into economic, social, and political power. I was proud to serve as the vice chair to Sean Monestine during his term as chairman. And I made sure that while I was chairing the census committee, that the Haitian community had a seat at the table and would help drive the message of census in the Creole speaking community. I thought it was very important, and we've included them. Look, I believe that the Haitian community that has immigrated to this country came with the same ideals that many others have come to this country, with the hope of being able to have economic opportunity, with the hope of being able to raise their families in peace and tranquility. I also believe that many in the Haitian American community don't want government intruding into their lives. They want economic opportunities, but they don't want government dictating to them how they're going to run their lives. Basically, you know, we see in a lot of these discourses an attempt to placate to the Haitian community, yet it doesn't translate into real economic opportunities. And you know, as mayor, my door is going to be open to all communities, not just the Haitian American community, but every community should have equal opportunities for economic advancement, to have opportunities to bid on contracts at the county. You know, it shouldn't be the exclusive group that we've seen in the past. You know, let's recall that there was a time when county government was really a country club of those associated with the mayor who would have the you know, first dibs on every contract. And that was just a reality that we dealt with. You know, the late 90s and 2000s, city of Miami, Miami-Dade County, these were the poster childs of cronyism and corruption. And I think we need to get way away from that. And under my administration, we won't go backwards into that kind of mantra. On the contrary, we will work forward to make sure that everybody has an opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Bovo. Thank you. The last, not least, Mr. Carlos de Armas. The same question, how would you integrate the Haitian community?
Since I'm at work, I'm talking about inclusion and justice. How could I not include the Haitians? Makes no sense. Not only Haitians, everybody. I will be motivating for an inclusive, proactive administration. My door, if I cannot get rid of it, will be always open for everybody. That is just my management style. That's the way I do it. I will be performing what I call proactive meetings. Every weekend, I will be visiting a locality to listen what they need to say, their concerns and ideas for improvement. Those meetings are to listen to you, and must you take advantage of them. By doing so, I will anticipate any distress you as community may have by fixing issues before they even show symptoms. Also, I will look for meetings with the community leaders to analyze what to tackle most urgent, important issues as soon as I step into the office. On top of that, I want my administration to be representative and diverse, meaning I will strive about open representation, mimicking the diversity of Miami-Dade. What that means, I want the Miami-Dade, the staff of Miami-Dade, be basically what is Miami-Dade. If we have 30%, I don't know, the Ecuadorians, then I want 30% Ecuadorians working for the city. That's how I wanted to do it. That's what I will strive for. And I want you to be involved. I want the communities to come to me, and I will come to you as well. And I want you to respond and be responsive to talk to me and tell me what you need, because I cannot know if you don't let me know. But if you are able to work with me, I'll be more than happy and willing to work with you. That's what we need. We need teamwork to make things different, to be the change.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your answers. Now I'll pass it to Naomi Blemire for the next questions. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Attorney Ron Sarin. Our next question is as follows. During the pandemic, there were several press conferences held within the county and the state to provide timely information and guidance to residents. To our dismay, our elected officials failed to provide the Haitian American community with a translator. What are your thoughts, and how will you acknowledge the Haitian American presence in the county's future press conferences and/or public service announcements? And how do you believe you can remedy this situation that I described? We are going to go with Commissioner Bovo.
Thank you, Naomi. Yeah, we were made aware of the situation with regards to the translation issue by the city of North Miami. And we immediately started working with the mayor's office to make sure that they could remedy that immediately. There's no excuse for it. And whoever failed to make sure that those information was getting out to the Haitian community, and if it didn't happen, you know, that's a fundamental failure on their part. For my part, I could tell you, I think I grew up, and I think former Mayor Penelas spoke to this. You know, there wasn't a transforming era where the Haitian community was maturing in our community, and government had to make sure it addressed their needs and make sure that you could communicate with them. And I think that should be a standard operating policy for anybody that is mayor of our county. You know, the Haitian community, I think as stated in some of the literature that was passed out with the questions, you know, represents the third largest group, perhaps after Cubans and Colombians, according to the American Survey. Yeah, I think it's really almost a non-issue. It should be happening, and if it hasn't happened, then those that fail to do that should have to answer for it.
Thank you, Commissioner Bovo. Mr. Carlos de Armas.
Outstanding communication is critical, even more during emergencies. Being able to listen to the people and convey messages is critical to save lives. It's for that reason that I will not save efforts and resources to guarantee a permanent, clear communication with the community. I will personally analyze all the communication mistakes and flaws made towards the Haitian population and other communities, and to design corrective programs and avoid repetition. This simply cannot happen again.
Thank you, sir. Candidate Ludmilla Domond.
Thank you. As you guys know, I'm going to try to be calm because I tend to be a little bit hyped up. It's just in my blood. But definitely, it's sad to say that no matter how long Haitians have been here, we're still somehow forgotten. Today, we're saying what we're going to do that should have been done. I attended a press conference in February where Francis Suarez was speaking, and I stood there amazed that Francis spoke English, spoke Spanish, and there was not a single person there to translate in Creole. And when he said, we will have a Miami for us, I, as a Black person, I, as a Haitian person, did not feel included. My feeling towards this is we're not, I won't even say second class, we're being considered third and fifth class citizens, if that even exists. We are first class citizens that speak a different language that should be included in everything in Miami-Dade County. Yes, we are in America, and I'm all for speaking English first, but because of the high percentage of Haitian population in Miami, it is absolutely necessary from our real estate test all the way down to a basic application should be translated in Haitian Creole, which is what the majority of the Haitian community speaks, not French, Haitian Creole. Let us be inclusive. But I, as a mayor, immediately, there should be no reason why my office should not be able to tackle that. And therefore, it will be tackled. There's no more, we will do it. There's no more we apologize. You don't apologize for something that is that is technically normalcy. You only apologize when you continue to forget that we exist. We're not going anywhere. So let's begin to continue to include. So translation, every single document will be done.
Thank you, candidate Domond. Commissioner Daniella Levine Cava.
Thank you. I think I also got excited and answered some of this question last time, but let me focus on a few of those points and then add on. So, you know, I've been involved in doing Creole Haitian translation of materials for almost 40 years. So I've been dedicated to this from the beginning, and I've worked with many in the community to get it right. From my days at Legal Services of Greater Miami to the Guardian Ad Litem program to Catalyst Miami. We've always had that translation. And on my campaign, we have started Haitian written materials, as well as, of course, we're doing, as others, you know, as much as we can on Haitian radio and TV with translation, because unfortunately I do not yet speak that language. But let me say that I agree with Commissioner Bovo that clearly the county needs to effectively communicate. I think more recently we have had the translators. This is out of the mayor's office, but we've had translators present at, and of course, Commissioner Monesteem sometimes himself steps up, which should not be his job, but to also provide a translation. And so moving ahead, what more do we need to do? Those are all basic protections for communication. As Mr. Armas said, we have to be able to communicate, it's basic. But on top of that, we have to invest in Haitian community organizations, because they are the intermediaries for so much of the community that is not primarily English speaking. So organizations like Sant-La and FAM and many others, Gang Alternative, there are many youth serving, senior serving, helping small businesses, all of those organizations we need to support to really be a pipeline for social service and economic development for the Haitian Creole community. Recently, I met with taxi drivers. Many taxi drivers are primarily Creole speaking, and you know, they feel totally left out of the economic conversation. And you know, they were saying there used to be the Miami Nice program. We used to have training around hospitality, and that has gone away. We need to do everything possible to invest in our small businesses in the Haitian community to allow them to service the community and grow. So I'm totally committed to that through my Empower program, working with the disparities study, which needs to come off of some other commissioner's desk where it's been stuck, and we will put it into work from the mayor's office for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Levine Cava. Next, same question, former Mayor Alex Penelas.
Naomi, thank you. You know, did we all listen to what Ms. Domond said? I think we should roll the tape back and listen to her frustration. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2020. This is 2020, and we're having this discussion. And what's sad is that some of the folks who already just spoke would run to those press conferences, make sure they were in front of the cameras because they wanted to be seen. Why did they stop the press conference and indicate that we should have translations in Creole? So I go back, look at the tape from 20 some odd hurricanes that I manage as mayor, countless other crises. Okay. I had primarily Lieutenant Eugene Germain, a member of the Miami-Dade County Fire Department, translating in Creole. Okay. I wish I could speak. I would speak it, like Mr. Mon said, I would speak in English and Spanish and let him translate. Okay. I would do special press briefings for Creole speaking media. I would have a sign interpreter. And we're still talking about translating documents? What are you kidding me? We did that 20 years ago, and we're talking about translating documents into Creole? I don't even know why, you know, to me, this question is embarrassing. The fact that people have to give excuses as to why in 2020, we're still not communicating to folks in Creole. I have nothing else to say.
Thank you, former Mayor Penelas. At this time, we're going to go to Commissioner Xavier Suarez.
Actually, I congratulate Commissioner Bovo, and I think with the support of Commissioner Daniella, Levine, Cava, and my own support, we straightened that situation out very quickly. But I want you all to know something. During the coronavirus crisis, you're not the only folks that have been ignored. We have been ignored. The mayor has basically signed emergency orders. He hasn't gone through any of the committees for the most part. In fact, the committees haven't met. The one committee that has met, Daniella and I are now members of it. To his credit, like I said, Commissioner Bovo did something about the translating the Creole. I mean, all documents that I'm aware of are translated, but I mean, you're talking, the question had to do with the simultaneous interpreting at those press conferences. Listen, you can go on, and I know the next question, I'm dying to get to question 5 and all the deficiencies of Mayor Jimenez. But I do want to say this. Before there was mention of who spends time in the Haitian community. I typically have gone to Mass and to worship services at both Notre Dame and the Cathedral. And when I knew that there was a crying need for protective equipment, I gave 50 and 100 Mass to many of the Black churches, actually. But in the case of Notre Dame and St. Mary's, I took more like 500. And then Modestine, I invited Modestine to go to it. He was running for mayor at the time, but it didn't matter to me. He wasn't able to make it, but he said, I need 500 masks. So I figured out a way to get him to him. In all of this, we have felt with the entire community. That's been our style since 1985, since I was elected mayor. And it will continue to be my approach, is to be with the community, to worship with the community, to play and work and consult the community. And you'll see that in the coronavirus when we have a new mayor who does things right, not the existing mayor.
Thank you. At this time, I believe all the candidates have gone. We're going to move forward with our final formal question for tonight with Sandra Saint-Hilaire.
For question number 5, before I read the question, I want to read a few excerpts from years ago. So the first one is from Sun Sentinel, January 17th, 1989. And the sentence is, mobs throwing rocks and burning cars forced the closing of a large section of downtown Miami. That was January 17th, 1989, in reference to the Arthur McDuffie trial. And then we're gonna go to 2020, and I'll read another excerpt from Miami-Dade. It's a title. Actually, I'm gonna go backward to 2013. Trayvon Martin protests being held in more than 10 cities. And the first line from BBC is, George Zimmerman, 29, was cleared on Saturday of unharmed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin's death in Florida last year. And then we move forward to 2020, 40 years later. Miami Herald says, a protest for justice for George Floyd and against police brutality in Miami, Florida on Sunday upset many, and I won't really finish that. So this moves me to question number 5. As an African-American millennial, I feel that the current mayor and current county and many local officials have not addressed the plight, the pain, and frustration of the African-American community, which also includes the Haitian community. Exactly 40 years after the Arthur McDuffie trial, the same weak actions have been taken by our local leaders, including the current Miami-Dade mayor. For example, a curfew was issued 40 years ago. Today, this month, another curfew was issued in reference to the protests that were taking place. So my question is to everyone, because I will assume it will not happen again. What would you have done differently in reference to what happened this month in June? What would you have done differently 40 years ago? We're going to start with Commissioner Esteban Bovo.
Thank you, Sandra. And look, my answer is going to probably be controversial because I'm not going to pander. Miami-Dade County has transformed itself over that 40-year period. You described incidents that were happening outside of Miami-Dade County with the exception of the McDuffie tribe. The Miami-Dade County has been engaging our community now for the last 30 years. It might not be at the level that many expect, and that I understand, okay? But our police department has transformed itself to the level of integration that we have in our community and community conversation. Now, we need to be clear. I'm talking about Miami-Dade County's police department, okay? Our police department today, our cadets interface with the Circle of Brotherhood, former felons in our community, many of them, who have worked with our police cadets to help them train and understand some of the nuances in some of our communities. Now, I will say this to you. The tools to try to keep law and order as far as like curfews are concerned are fundamental because the issues that we were dealing with now, which are important on systemic racism and opportunities in our Black brothers and sisters, was hijacked by anarchists who have now shifted the conversation that I think could have been a productive conversation into tearing down statues and trying to rip the core of American values. And I have a problem with that, a serious problem with that. Now, I will tell you as your mayor, I won't ignore it. I'll work on these issues, okay? I believe there should be a very inclusive summit that brings all aspects of our community to the table to discuss issues in our community. That way we could all understand what are the needs in our community and how do we move our community forward. But I will tell you, you know, Miami-Dade County has had the scars of the growing pains that we had from the 80s. We've had the scars and the growing pain that we had of the corruption, the political corruption of the 90s. Okay, that's not the same Miami-Dade County. Now, each and every person needs to own the issues that they want to own. But I will tell you, you know, I'll work closely with stakeholders if I'm your mayor to make sure that everybody, again, is included in the dialogue and the discourse. But, you know, we're a different county, much different county, and it bothers a little bit. And the rest of you that want to pile onto the police department and endorse these defund issues, you know, our police department is not the police department of the past. And on the contrary, what we've seen in other communities, we did not see them in Miami-Dade County. And that is a product of the integration and the relationship building that we've had for a long time in our county.
Thank you, Commissioner. The next candidate is Carlos de Armas.
Okay, yeah. This is something that really touched me because this is something that I'm not used to. But where I'm coming from, we are just the same people. We don't have that kind of differences. Lonnie Lawrence, one of Arthur's McDuffie best friends, who was working as a spokesman for the same police department as the officer who killed his friend, said, Arthur would curse me out if I quit. I wanted them to deal with me, to remind them that I know what they had done to my friend. In the same way, I decided to run. I want the wrong to deal with me. I want to make the change. This is a problem that should have ended already 200 years ago. And I am going to end it, at least in Miami-Dade. I am going to educate each and every person to be able to understand that we are just human beings, period. If they don't want to understand, they will have a problem. This is a matter of perception. Such differences doesn't exist at all. We can eliminate that atavism. It's not necessary anymore. We are not animals anymore. We don't need to have that sense of hurt. I have suffered discrimination myself as a candidate. I was systematically ignored from forums just because I am not part of the status quo, just because I think different. But I'm here. I led to be noticed. The same way that I'm going to lead to provide equal opportunities and justice to all, regardless. What happened to the Mayor Jimenez wouldn't happen to me. Because you know what? Because I would have the proactive meetings. People will have the opportunity throughout the year to say what they want to change, to talk about their concerns, and those concerns could be addressed on time. I know this violence against Black people is something that really matters in the United States. I understand that now. But people are not only protesting because that. They are protesting for so many things. There's so much frustration out there because nobody's listening.
That's the problem. Thank you, candidate de Armas.
I'm next sorry if I got too excited.
No, you're fine. So the next candidate is Ludmilla Domond.
I just want to quickly read this. I think I have 2 minutes to answer. But on June 25th, 2020,
Candidate Domond, 1 minute.
Oh, I have 1 minute, okay. On June 25th, 2020, the Miami Gardens police officer was finally arrested after placing his knee on a pregnant woman's neck in January of 2019. He was finally arrested a whole entire year later. Her baby died. So when we talk about that it is the past or that it is not happening in Miami, I beg to differ. I want to be the one that get endorsed by the police department, Bovo, not you, okay? Because I took pictures with them. That's a joke. But we have an issue. The issue is we can't continue to pretend what is happening doesn't exist, but we need to move forward. How do we move forward? First, acknowledging the issue. Secondly, we have a panelist right now. We have a candidate, and that is to Suarez. In 1990, Suarez was one of the 5 mayors in Miami-Dade County that denied Mandela from entering this county after spending, 25 years in jail because Mandela's belief or who he had associated with did not work with Suarez. What did that do? A year and a half later of denying, it caused riots here. It caused the Black Association of Lawyers to stand up to say, Miami belongs to all of us. Let's not be fooled. It still goes on. But how do we change it? Acknowledge it. Open communication. It exists. And I'm not sure if I answered the question because I was listening to like 3 or 4 people before me, but literally it's going on. We're not here. I don't want to defund the police.
Thank you, candidate.
Reallocate the police funding.
Thank you, Ludmilla Domond. Next, we address Commissioner Daniella Levine Cava.
Yes. We have multi-generational fear of the police in certain communities of color. We also have excellent police officers. Not all police officers are the terrible ones that we just heard about from Ludmilla Domond or George Floyd's murderer. Of course not. But we must create relationships of trust to restore the confidence of those vulnerable communities so that police can do their job and promote public safety, because right now that chasm is too large. So I am sponsoring the charter reform amendment that will hopefully be approved by the Board of County Commissioners, along with an ordinance that Commissioner Jordan is bringing. So together we've been working on the charter item. It will hopefully go on the November ballot to the public, to the voters, and will be approved and create a permanent office, independent civilian panel that will have the ability to review these kinds of horrendous cases or problems or complaints and provide an opportunity for listening and mediation and reestablishment of trust, as well as discipline for those who should not be policing. This is critical to moving forward. And because of what happened to George Floyd in open daylight, captured on camera for the whole world to see when we were home with COVID, our eyes are wide open and this movement continues. So this is our opportunity to change it, not just through a charter and ordinance, but to make sure that we don't have no-knock warrants, that we don't allow continuous examples of misconduct to go unchecked. There are so many ways that we can reform our police, but most important is prevention. And we have a community relations board in the county. We need one in every city that is proactive and goes out whenever there's an issue early.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mayor Alex Penelas.
Well, Sandra, thank you for the question. And, you know, it's interesting. What has the current mayor, how has he not addressed the current plight, pain, and frustration? There's so much there. And it's not, you know, you would almost have to talk about every one of the issues that impact the community: housing, gun violence. But I think you start with what, again, I have to agree with what Ms. Domond said. You've got to start there with recognizing that racism exists. And we run away from it, you know, it exists and we have to say it. Because if we don't say it and we don't acknowledge it, then we're just going to keep nibbling around the edges, okay? So let me address the issue that everybody's talking about, which is police misconduct. And again, it's great that everybody has these great ideas now. When I was mayor, we had an independent review panel, okay? And I increased the funding for the independent review panel. And in 2002, we proposed to take it to voters to increase the power. So we've had those processes in place. Unfortunately, it was defunded in 2009 when the commission chose to assign funding for it again in 2018. Unfortunately, the mayor vetoed it. So to answer your specific question, Sandra, I would not have vetoed that effort. I would have made sure that we continued funding the independent review panel and then worked, as many of the commissioners are working now, to provide it with additional power. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be an indictment of police. A lot of police officers will tell you that having an extra pair of eyes on what's happening is actually a good thing. So it doesn't have to be an either or proposition like some would propose, okay? It's not about dismantling the police department and taking funding away. No, it's about giving citizens input in a balanced fashion.
Thank you. Next, we have Commissioner Xavier Suarez.
Alex is right. The county has had an independent review panel, but it had no teeth. What we had in the city of Miami under my tenure was a citizens independent investigative panel. And I commend Daniella for putting forth the effort of even saying that maybe we should have a charter amendment if we need to get to that point, because Jimenez has vetoed it, I think twice actually. And that's not all the things that Jimenez has done wrong. The curfew that you mentioned, imposing it all of a sudden as a way to keep people maybe from crossing from Miami to Miami Beach and all that kind of nonsense. You know, I was hoping you would have more time for this question because there's so many things. But you mentioned McDuffie. That was actually 1980. Soon after that, okay, because Clement Lloyd was 1989 when I was mayor. And soon after that, we initiated single-member districts, okay? Carrie Meek and I were the plaintiffs in the first lawsuit against the county. And then I was the lead plaintiff against the school board. Because of that, we have a Commissioner Monesteem on the county commission. And many other reforms, including in the city of Miami, the CIP, and in the county, recently, and in this case, Jimenez, I have to give him credit, is we have body cameras. So we do have 2 extra eyes, as Alex was saying. But that doesn't excuse the current mayor from being, you know, one of the most ineffective and insensitive persons that we've had in many years, which is why I have gone against him time after time after time. And people are going to see a change in November when we have a new mayor, and hopefully myself, if it works out that way.
Thank you everyone for answering. Before I pass it on to Naomi, I want to make something clear. I personally do not have an issue with the police. I personally am not asking anyone to go against the police department because I believe that the police is necessary. When I started the question, one of the 3 things that I really wanted everyone to pay attention to is that I said the pain and frustration of the African-American community, which also includes the Haitian-American community. I want to make it clear again that this question was not about the police, but it was rather about the pain and frustration of the African-American community. I wish, and maybe we'll have a better dialogue where everyone can address this, but I want everyone to pay attention to what the pain and frustration of the African-American community is, or what the pains are, what the frustration are. So this is not about the police. It is about the frustration of the people. And now, thank you so much for everyone for answering, and we'll move it on to Naomi.
Thank you, Sandra. And this concludes the formal questions for our candidates. At this time, we are going to begin with a series of questions that are going to go directly to specific candidates, and then we will close with the questions that are on Zoom and Facebook. Okay, we're gonna move very quickly so that we can end in the next couple of minutes. This question is for Commissioner Levine Cava, former Mayor Alex Penelas, Commissioner Bovo, and Commissioner Suarez. The following candidates have been able to raise a significant amount of funds for their campaigns. Can you share with us your budget for the Haitian American community, if any, and how you plan on spending that budget? We're going to begin with Commissioner Daniella Levine Cava.
Thank you very much to the questioner. I don't have the exact numbers, but I can tell you what are the components of the budget. So we've hired a Haitian consultant for media, Elizabeth Guerin. We've hired Trevon Pierre as our full-time organizer. We have a number of field organizers. Several of them are Haitian Creole speakers. As well, we are producing written materials in Haitian Creole for door hangers and spending money on media in the Haitian Creole community. That's on the campaign side. On my commission side, we've also spent a significant amount of money in the Haitian Creole community. And just recently, we were successful in restoring the county's radio contract with RCH Haitian Community Radio to provide important COVID outreach in South Dade, which is now a hotspot. And that was advocacy from my office to have that contract restored.
Thank you, Commissioner Levine Cava. We're going to go to former Mayor Alex Penelas.
Naomi, thank you for the question. So much like Commissioner Levine Cava mentioned, our campaign budgets are divided into a series of activities, which in many cases really cut across all communities, right? When you do phone banking or there's a mail program, it will cover many, many different communities. We did do a recent analysis that show that probably right now we're at somewhere between 15 and 20% of our campaign budget being dedicated for the African-American community, the Caribbean community, on radio, like I said, for mail. And then you have things like a TV budget. How do you determine how much of that specifically is going to when everybody sees TV? So it's really hard, I think, like Commissioner mentioned, to give you a specific number, but obviously it's a significant investment.
Excellent. And former Mayor Penelas, do you have any Haitian American on board on your team?
Yeah, as volunteers, I do. Ameline Alexis, which I mentioned earlier, is a special advisor. She's a volunteer, which is the best kind of campaign staff to have, and would look forward to her and others to being part of my official staff like they were before Naomi. I think we've already gone over that, that issue, and certainly would repeat that, yes.
Thank you, former Mayor Penelas. Commissioner Bovo.
Dr. Sadent in the Haitian community has been an advisor to my campaign, pro bono, in all honesty. Look, my campaign doesn't have the those entrenched interests that are donating to my campaign. We will be spending our money where it's best and the wisest for our campaign to be able to move forward. It's really undetermined how much money will be invested in one segment of the community over another. We will try to do our best to make sure that we reach out to everybody in our community.
Thank you, Commissioner Bovo. And last but not least, Commissioner Suarez.
Thank you for that. Not least, I don't have as much money as some of my opponents, so even though I guess I'm in the top 4 in fundraising, we're starting Haitian radio. I think at the same clip as the other different ethnic audiences, if you want to put it, or language audiences. Ringo Caillard is probably my single most important advisor in the Haitian community, but I want to say something. The folks that were in this program today have done such a great job that I hope to contact all of you, and were I to make the runoff or even before the runoff, I'd love to get input and advice and maybe involvement from any of the folks that have been on this panel today.
Thank you, Commissioner Suarez. At this time, we have another question which will be posed by Anthony.
Thank you, Ms. Naomi. The questions are very similar. This question is very similar. And this one will go to Ms. Domond, Barley, I apologize, and Mr. Armas. The question goes, do your campaign have a plan to invest in the Haitian American community, get out to vote efforts? And has your campaign committed to engaging Haitian Americans in your outreach efforts to the Haitian American community? I'll start with Ms. Domond.
Yes, I do not have any campaign funds, and I am going to be honest because it is public record. And being a Haitian American, yes, I am. I'm out there with our team, the small team that we have, but we're out there knocking on doors, speaking to the Haitian community, speaking to the Black community, speaking to the Latino community, to encourage everyone to vote, knowing that the deadline to register is July 20th. I first had to start in my house because we talk about before we can go and try to lead the world, are you able to lead your home? So yes, I was able to get my 2 brothers to actually register to vote. And if I have to drag them to the polls, I will. So presently, everything that I can do within the powers that I have, communicating and dialoguing with the people. I'm not just sending other people out there. I'm actually in the community. So yes, everything that I have in mind is to be in the Haitian community.
Thank you, Ms. Ludmilla. Mr. Armas, same question for you. Do your campaign have a plan to invest in the Haitian American community get out to vote effort? We know that this is one of the most important election years. So do you have a plan to actually join those efforts, those get out to reach efforts? And if you do, what efforts and who are you engaging in the Haitian community to accomplish these goals? I'm sorry, Mr. Ramos, we can't hear you. Apologies.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, my mistake. We don't have funds. This is a one-on-one campaign. We don't have sponsors. We are not owned by anybody. So we are just going out to talk one-on-one. As I told you before at the beginning, I have spoken with more than 4,000 people in the last year. Between 25 and 35% of those were African American. So I have many ideas from them. I have captured what they feel. I have captured what their expectations are. I have captured their needs. So I have pretty clear what this community is needing, what they are asking for, and that's included in my government plan. Because my government plan was made by you guys. I just was the person who put it together. But my government plan was made by ideas given by you, by those more than 4,000 people that I have spoken to. This is a personal effort that I have done myself. I don't have money to bring an army of people going out there to talk to people. And this is not the way I want to do it. I don't want to be just another politician that works that way. I want to do something different, an alternative.
Thank you, Mr. Ramos.
This is the way I want it to be.
Thank you, Mr. Ramos. Thank you so much.
Now
I'll go on and pass it on to Miss Dr. Vanessa Pierre. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all the candidates. We're going to start to wind down. I received a question from Facebook. Let me read it, and I will give not all candidates, but a few candidates an opportunity to answer this. This question came from Rudy Shango Theopin from Facebook, and his question is, do you believe that it's in the best interest of our county to leave certain sections unincorporated? Why or why not? I will ask the question again. Do you believe that it's in the best interest of our county to leave certain sections unincorporated? Why or why not? Let me begin by asking Commissioner Daniella Levine Cava. You have the floor.
Thank you. Another excellent question. We had a study that was completed on incorporation a few years back that explained that there would be a tipping point after which really it would not make sense to have any unincorporated areas, but we're not at that point yet. So at the present time, from an economic perspective and from a management perspective, there was still a logic to having municipal services provided by Miami-Dade County for the unincorporated areas. So my position has been to work with neighborhoods that want to be incorporated. They have to demonstrate a readiness to be incorporated. Otherwise, we're wasting a lot of time of the residents and of the county and going through the motions. But if there is a strong natural urge for new cities to incorporate, I don't stand in the way of that. I'm in favor of moving forward with the public. But at this time, I don't feel that it's necessary to move like Broward to a mostly incorporated model. But I do think it really challenges us at the county to be more useful, not just for municipal services, but to play more of a visioning and leadership role, bringing the cities together, building on the efforts of cities that we have not collaborated well with cities, in my opinion. And as mayor, I look forward to working constructively and not just as a regulatory body with the cities, 34 of them.
Thank you so very much, Commissioner Daniella Levine Cava. I'm going to ask the same question to one more candidate. I'm going to read the question again, one more time. Do you believe that it is in the best interest of our county to leave certain sections unincorporated? Why or why not? This question is going to go to candidate Alex Penelas. I'm going to read the question one more time.
I got it. An issue I know a lot about. In a perfect world, no. In a perfect world, we have no unincorporated areas. The county government should be a regional government dealing with transportation systems, running airports and seaports, et cetera. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. The devil's in the detail. And when certain areas seek to incorporate or annex, then there are particular issues in those areas that sometimes take precedence. So again, in a perfect world, no. We really need to work hard to figure out if we would go the Broward route, which was more of a mandate, or just leave this normal flow of areas organically either incorporating or annexing. It happened during my administration, where we had communities throughout Miami-Dade County, rich and poor, black and white, incorporating, Key Biscayne, Pinecrest, Miami Gardens, Miami Lakes. So the experiment has worked. In a perfect world, we would have no unincorporated areas, but I think we have a lot of work before we get there.
Okay, thank you so very much. And the same question is going to go to Commissioner Bovo.
Yeah, look, I think when I first got to the Board of County Commission, there was a lot of conversation about incorporation, and wherever it's homegrown, I think it should be supported. I think many times county gets itself into trouble because some of the bigger ticket issues, like transportation, like affordable housing globally, get neglected because oftentimes commissioners are minding, rightly so, what they need to be doing in their commission districts. You know, it's interesting. I have a commission district that has a small portion of unincorporated Miami-Dade County, yet 2 areas that are municipalities. And I find myself very invested in the non-incorporated area as their form of government. And, you know, you're worried about the grass getting cut, the roads being paved and maintained, yet in the cities could go ahead and handle that. Look, as long as the incorporation conversation leads to higher taxes for any residents, you're not going to see a very robust opportunity. When it is homegrown, I will more than happily support it. But if it's tried to be created from the dais, for example, that does give me some problems, and I have voted against those kind of efforts because it's not homegrown.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Bovo. We're gonna pass it on to Mr. Ron Sarin. He's gonna lead us with the final question, and then we're gonna have everyone give their final remarks. Thank you. Attorney Sarin, your mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all the candidates. From the Haitian Lawyers Association, this question came from. In the wake of the recent images we have seen police encounters with Black people, and what many people of color have already experienced, now more than ever, it is important to have an independent review panel. Because even with internal affairs investigation, as we see so many times, the officers are not held accountable. Example of Mr. Chauvin, who had several complaints against him. Where do you fall on this issue, particularly the current commissioners who have voted on this item at the first reading? And the question I will address to Ms. Cava. Commissioner Cava, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Ronald. So as I said before, I am actually the sponsor of the charter reform item together with Commissioner Jordan. We had a sunshine meeting this week to go over some changes that I had made, and she was in agreement with those changes. She is the prime sponsor of the ordinance, which would interpret the charter. You know, the charter is like the Constitution for Miami-Dade County, and it only is approved by the voters, and it can only be changed by the voters. So that is a more permanent form. The ordinance at the county can't be in contrast. It can't contradict what's in the charter. So Commissioner Jordan is working on the ordinance more so. I am already a sponsor, co-sponsor, and I was a co-sponsor of the previous version that was vetoed by the mayor, and there were not enough votes to sustain to override the veto. So I'm a strong proponent because I believe it will be good for everybody. It will be good for police as well, because they'll have an opportunity to address things directly with the public. They'll be able to listen. You know, Commissioner Bovo talked about Circle of Brotherhood. That's part of the training program, but this brings it much closer to the people. They'll have a chance to listen and learn, and there'll be mediation as well as disciplinary action. Thank you.
It's understood that Mr. Bovo voted against the review panel. Mr. Bovo, can you address this question?
Yes, thank you, Ronald. I did participate also in the Sunshine meeting that Commissioner Cava was talking about. I also participated in a Sunshine meeting with Commissioner Jordan and Commissioner Sosa. Look, I still have some serious concerns on how this is being crafted. We want a piece of legislation, I think, that is going to make sure that is fair across the board. Right now, it seems like the Board of County Commission and its ability perhaps to select members to serve on the IRP may be in question. We may have the ultimate say, but we may not be able to pick the candidates as far as I understand how the current legislation. I do appreciate Commissioner Jordan working and trying to improve it, but in its current format right now, I'm still not a supporter and would encourage the mayor to veto it. But hopefully between now and July 18th, when we have it in front of us, it'll be a piece of legislation that I could support because I do want something that allows us to always revise in a way that improves our police tactics and our abilities to police our community. I just worry that if the commission is kind of like cut out of that process from the ultimate say on who serves on it, then it could lead to more problems than anything else. Thank you, Ronald.
Thank you. And Commissioner Suarez, how do you respond to that since you voted for it? How do you respond to the investigative review panel issue?
Yes, a real CIP or Citizens Investigative Panel is like the one that I created in the city of Miami 30 years ago. The county's 30 years behind on that. And frankly, I want the Haitian Lawyers Association to advise me going forward because the litigation on the issue of subpoena powers has been, pretty intense. The most recent case, Ron, was the D'Agostino case in 2017. Basically, right now we can subpoena everyone except the officer that is being investigated, and so we can do a lot of discovery on what exactly happened in a particular incident. The main problem, though, is perspective. Why do we have someone like an officer that has had, the one in Broward comes to mind, 79 incidents of use of force in 3.5 years. He's the guy that pushed the lady down who was kneeling. Okay, why does a person like that remain in the force? And so we'll take your input and work together going forward.
Very quickly, thank you, Commissioner. Very quickly, Ms. Domond, the only Black on this panel here, Asian American. What is your position on that review panel?
I'm all for the review panel because I think, I believe community engagement with the police is necessary in allowing the citizens to actually be a part of what takes place is what I call transparency. On this panel should not be individuals who are already part of the system, but as I mentioned, citizens that are able to have a different outlook. So definitely I'm for a review panel to make sure that fairness and justice is equal across the board.
Thank you. In all fairness, I guess everyone had a chance to respond to it. So I'll give a 30 seconds to Mr. De Armas for his opinion.
Sure. As a person who really believes in democracy, any effort to balance powers, I have supported. I'm supportive of that. And I think the review panel is just that, it's balancing powers. And I think will give so much transparency to the process and actually will help the police with that if they learn how to communicate, how to work together, I think everybody will win from that relationship from the review panel thing. So I really encourage it and I am up to it.
Thank you so much. Having said that, I'd like to pass it to Ms. Blemire for the closing and final assessment. thank you all for your time here.
Thank you so very much to all the candidates that counted worthy to be here today. We respect and honor your presence, and we appreciate that you were willing to take the time out as we reached out to you. At this time, we're going to give each candidate 1 minute remarks. 1 minute. What would you like the Haitian Americans to know, and why should they vote for you? You have 1 minute. We're going to begin with Commissioner Esteban Bovo.
Thank you, Naomi, and thank all of you that have participated in this, all the panelists and all the fellow candidates, and I do appreciate the opportunity. Look, since March 12th, we have transformed what would have been a normal campaign into really a effort of public service. I have participated directly in not only setting up free testing sites for coronavirus, food distributions, taking food to people in our community, blood drives to make sure that we had enough blood supply in our community, hand sanitizers, distribution of masks all over our community, from Hialeah, Miami Lakes, City of Miami, all over our community. It has allowed me to lead and from the front, to show the example of my engagement as a community leader, as someone that aspires to be mayor. It is the style that I would be working in. It wouldn't be left to others to do. I would be in the trenches, making sure that our county is moving forward. I look forward to the opportunity, quite honestly, as this campaign moves forward to all the other debates that we're going to be having. And I would say to you, I try to be as consistent as I can in every forum that I go to. Every single person in our community matters. Every single person and every single group, every single organization, every single community should have a say and be a participant in the discourse of our community and the way we move our county forward. And I pledge to do that as your mayor. And I appreciate the opportunity again, and hope all of you stay safe.
Thank you, Commissioner Bovo. We're going to go to candidate Carlos de Armas. Please tell us, give us some final words, and why should the Haitian American population vote for you?
Okay. Remember, I'm the candidate of inclusion, justice, I'm an alternative. And remember to bubble and write. Number one, you bubble the writing option and write Carlos de Armas over the line. By doing it this way, you are sending a message. You are saying that changes must be made, and you don't agree with those old, ineffective, and exclusionary practices anymore. I am running so you can send your message. Each time you write Carlos de Armas in the right line, it's a hit to the status quo, to what is wrong. We are the only alternative to power who will be able to spur change. Either we get elected or not, your message will prevail. And whoever is elected will have to listen to such democratic message. That will be the most perfect and effective protest you could have. So don't waste it. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate de Armas. Same question, Ludmilla, final words, and why should the Haitian American population vote for you?
If I knew many years ago, 30 years ago, that I was going to run for office, I would have done probably what every other elected officials on here have already done. I would have taken perfect pictures and show how involved I'm in the community. So that way you can see that I'm really part of the community. But that's not what I did. See, a true server doesn't have to take pictures, just like a parent does not have receipts for everything that they do. So I'm running because my heart is truly for the people. And I'm truly a server. I don't do it to be seen. I don't take pictures on the bus so that way you can see I'm riding the bus. I actually do utilize the bus. When you vote for me and you punch my number on August 18th, you're voting for someone and you're electing someone into office that has your heart in mind. I'm a leader that is passionate about what I do. I'm transparent, and everything that I hear thus far, I will take it as a sense of urgency. You vote for me, you're voting for the best.
Thank you, Candidate Domond. We will now go to Commissioner Daniella Levine Cava. Please tell us, Commissioner, what your final words and why should the Haitian American population vote for you?
Thank you so very much, Naomi, and to the entire group that has put this important program together with such thoughtful questions. I want to thank you and also the viewers. You know, I've spent a life and a lifetime serving the community. My personal mission has been to make sure that children had the opportunities to be productive and loved members of our society. And I have always worked in the community, and I will continue to work with the community by my side. To talk about the pain, as Sandra said, you know, this is our opportunity to really do something about it, not pay lip service. 40 years of running organizations, large and small, always dedicated to social justice concerns. I bring that experience with me. I bring that dedication. I bring the commitment to work in coalition, as I've always done, to make sure that the mayor's office is able to help to heal the hurt and to help the businesses that are struggling, and to make sure that people are at the center of our government and not an afterthought. And I humbly ask for your support in November to be your first woman mayor, to be your first mayor from a community service history, and together we can be the change. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Levine Cava. We will go to former Mayor Alex Penelas. Final words, and why should the Haitian American population vote for you?
Thank you, Naomi, and to all the organizers. I'm not sure why Ron didn't ask me also the question about the independent review panel. Let me just say I supported it then when I was mayor. I support it now. But let me be very clear about something. We're running for mayor to be the strong mayor of Miami-Dade County. If I see with my eyes what we all saw happen to George Floyd, I don't want to wait for an independent review panel. I want to have the power to fire that police officer on the spot. Okay, so we got to figure out, remember what we're running for. Okay, we don't need to defer everything to panels. I support the panel, but we need to understand that we have executive powers. Number two, why should the Haitian American community vote for Alex Penelas? You know Alex Penelas. I've elevated the community. I've been a champion of the community. Not now that I'm running for office. Now everybody has great plans for the Haitian American community. I was there 25 years ago, elevating the community, celebrating the Haitian American community, and will do so again. Finally, I think it boils down, Naomi, to experience. And many of you talked about this post-COVID world that we're living in, but the problems from before COVID haven't gone away. We need an experienced mayor who's going to come in with many, many new commissioners because of term limits to move an agenda, a bold and aggressive agenda forward. And I'm the only one here that has that experience of serving as the county mayor in the private sector for 16 years. And I think it's that combination of experiences, where I am in my positions, where I am in life, that makes me the ideal candidate to serve you. It was a privilege for me to be your mayor before, and I hope I earn your vote again in the future. Thank you very much, Naomi.
Thank you, former mayor. It was an oversight. I apologize.
It's okay. I still like you. It's okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. And thank you, Ron Surin. We are last, but of course not least, Commissioner Xavier Suarez. Please share with us some final words, and why should the Haitian American population vote for you?
Thank you, Naomi, Anthony, Sandra, Ron, Dr. Vanessa. I hope I didn't miss anyone. This has been a fantastic forum. Alex said that he was there 25 years ago. Well, I was there 35 years ago. That doesn't age me necessarily because I still have plenty of energy and youth. You know, you muted me, but that's okay. I'm back on. You have to look at...
Please start from the beginning. Please start from the beginning. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I want to thank all of you. I mentioned Sandra, Anthony, Naomi, Counselor Ron, Dr. Vanessa. Hope I didn't miss anyone. It's been a magnificent forum, a little longer than I expected, but I want to tell you, you know, when Alex says he's been there from 25 years ago, I've been there from 35 years ago. A lot of folks think that I'm part Haitian, and that's because of how close I've been to the Haitian community in all these years, and perhaps because of my fluency in French and maybe a little bit of Haitian Creole from time to time. We have a great opportunity on August 18th, not just to elect a mayor, but to elect 7 new commissioners. Okay, I'm supporting 5 and maybe 6 new commissioners, and we're going to change the way things have been done. A lot of these folks, you know, are ready to go along with what's happened in the past. I'm not. I want to make changes in the county. The county has a $9 billion total budget in operating and capital funds, and you understand the accounting of that and the difference on that, I'm sure. And so I want to continue this communication as we go forward towards August 18th, and if there's a runoff until November. Please make sure that you can reach me at Xavier Suarez ESQ at AOL, or my cell, which is 305-496-8484. And I can be reached so that we can continue this conversation, because we're going to make major changes in the county beginning in November. And with your help and with God's help, we're going to have an incredible county and a great involvement from the Haitian community at all levels, at the level of department directors, at the level of my personal staff, as I showed when I was mayor of the city of Miami, and I've showed with my current staff. So thank you again, and God bless you.
Thank you so very much, Commissioner Suarez. Pour tout le monde qui a regardé, nous disons merci beaucoup que à soir ou t'es branché pour tendre qui ça que les candidats voulaient porter pour nous. Tendez, élection août, 18 août, c'est pas une élection pour nous rester chita, croiser bois nous. Nous tendez tout ça yo dit, nous tendez qui ça yo voulait pour yo implémenter et qui gens yo voulait pour yo intégrer haïtiens américains dans l'administration yo. Nous tendez qui est-ce qui déjà parlé, qui mettait mon administration déjà, et nous tendez qui est-ce qui poko mettait mon administration. Tendez, nous c'est troisième groupe ethnique là dans Miami-Dade là. Nous avons pouvoir pour voter, nous avons pouvoir pour nous mettre candidat, nous avons pouvoir pour nous retirer candidat. Année ça qui pourra venir, nous passer trop. Pas vrai? Et même une candidat qui est haïtien américain dit comme ça que yo pas reconnaître nous. Faut nous assurer que non seulement nous voter, nous là les mettez sous poste pour nous kembe yo accountable pour yo là pour yo servir nous même gens que yo servir tout le monde. We want to thank every single person who tuned in today, those that are Haitian American, those that are not Haitian American. We welcome you and we really appreciate you tuning in today. Listen, this election, August 18th, 2020, is the election of your life. Do not sit this one out. Do not cross your arms and say, you know what, I'm not interested, or you know what, it's business as usual. It will be business as usual if you do not vote. It will be business as usual if you do not take a stand. But if we all rally, identify who we want to support, and we put our strength, our resources, and of course, boots on the ground, we will ensure that our children, our grandchildren will see a better Miami-Dade. Again, thank you so much to every single candidate who was present. We want to let everyone know that there are 7 candidates on the ballot. However, there are only 6 candidates that showed up for tonight. And those candidates are Commissioner Esteban Bovo Jr., candidate Carlos A. de Armas, candidate Ludmilla Domond, Commissioner Daniella, Levine, Cava, former Mayor Alex Penelas, and Commissioner Xavier Suarez. These are the people that showed up to talk to us, and these are the people that we present that you should choose one to vote for and to ensure that come November, we begin the new trajectory for Miami-Dade County. Thank you so very much. Have a good night, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Good night, everyone.